What's going on, John?
I can't explain that one, Mike. We talked about it, but Australia, being the place it is, it makes for really interesting people.
It
And it just so
does.
happens your neighbor is one of them. Maybe the spiders went to his house and he's hiding in the truck. Maybe that's it.
He's just living out of the truck now. That's actually probably the reason why he's doing it. You're right, John. Army Geniuses, they do go into their third pickup, and I do like what I'm seeing. The slider obviously does.
10 seconds.
Holy shit, he's actually driving away. He's actually driving away as we. Oh my god! I think I've done it, John. No,
Oh
he's
god.
he's revving it, John.
What?
He's pressing the accelerator. I thought he was driving. No, he's just revving the truck. I don't know why. Anyway, Slider's been picked up now. So Slider very good up against the Lifestealer. Obviously, just dominates the lane up against the LS. And with that Morphling pick, you have that inbuilt rage if you do morph into the Lifestealer, which is going to be very nice. So overall, a very, very good start for Army Geniuses in terms of draft. I wonder how Motivate.Trust are going to respond.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could still opt for the Bloodseeker pick here. They.
What is this, Jonathan? I mean, I talked to you
right.
about your hero pool being picked up recently. There you go. Maybe Motivate.Trust were listening. They heard what you had to say and they want to prove you wrong.
Hey, if they, I'm all for it to be proven wrong. The line here, honestly, I think it's fine with the line tiny. You've got some really sharp timings with your 4 and 5, so you've got pretty good lineups there in terms of burst. A lot of burst coming out here, and the line does give them instantaneous stun on the Morphling. So once you get the blink Hex, you're gonna catch that Morphling off guard before you can uh shift, and then you can burst them down really easily. So it's a good response to that. We'll see what they do here. You don't have a natural vehicle for the Lifestealer as of yet. And as you mentioned, the Slardar against Lifestealer is already pretty good. There's the vehicle. Storm Spirit comes out. So it kind of plays into what the line wants to do as well. Really good burst timings, really strong potential to rotate mid at the 5 to 6 mark for the line and the tiny. Army Genesis, though, Winter Wyvern. And that is yet another way to hold this Lifestealer down. With a Winter's Curse piercing through that spell immunity. Looks like Army Geniuses did just want a solid way to get that through. They've also got this healing now to kind of dodge through the magic damage as well. So that is kind of working out nicely for Army Geniuses in that sense. But there's just something that doesn't line up with this draft. Like, you've got Slaughter, Morphling. Haze does help the Morphling to a certain extent, but it's not bursty like a PA is. So we're going to have to see what they bring out for their mid.
Is a very blue draft right now from Army Geniuses as well, John. Very, important to point out how blue they are at the moment. I personally like their draft. I think they've got plenty of cash potential here for that Lifestealer and the Storm Spirit especially.
10 seconds.
However, they do need to finish off with some kind of really strong mid pick, I'd say. The Morphling should be in the safe lane here. Motivate.Trust, they are yet to pick up a Massaros hero, as far as I can tell. So something for the offlane is required. Yeah, might just have a bit of a think about it.
Yeah.
That
His Tide Hunter's banned.
That line makes me feel sick, by the way, John. Just seeing it in a draft, it doesn't look like it fits at all. Like when you're so used to seeing a hero and then another hero comes in.
Oh!
Wait a minute. What is happening?
Oh my god. What are you...
This is the proper SCA draft right here. This is it. Some idiot support takes line. He's gonna feed all game. The mid player thinks he's a god, so he's gonna pick up one of the Spirit Brothers. He'll take Storm. Your offlaner thinks he needs to carry the game, so he's gonna pick PL or Lifestealer. And your pos one's still gonna go a carry. And then you've got this Tiny who's gonna run around looking to toss all game, and that's it. This is the epitome of an SCA pub draft. I love it.
It is. It really is. I think the one thing you lack is your pause 4 picking something that's more of a tree. So that's the one thing. I want something greedier for Q to really make it that C pub experience. Then you just cause your line to just suffer. He's the only actual person who picked into his role. Everyone else just picked core. But MG.Trust, again, going left field. Master's Lifestealer. I mean,
I
they've
don't see
done
the
the
problem.
offlane Faces Void. I don't know about the offlane Lifestealer though, but it's there to. So now you've wasted your 2 picks to counter an offlane. I suppose that's the thinking there. Yeah, Master's Lifestealer. I like how Army Geniuses closed out though. LC into PL, overwhelming odds to kind of make your laning phase hard. So they do have that in hand. What the hell is Master's going to do? Like, that's the biggest question in my mind. What does he want to do here? All we can do is just
Well,
watch and find out.
wasn't there a period with Lifestealer, John, that it was all about just infesting people? Because you get bonus movement speed, you get
Mm.
bonus regen, bonus health.
No, it was more infesting the creeps, right? Like you'd get a Dominator and infest it, or something dumb like that, just to stack on HP and just run around as a Mega Creep. I don't know if you want to do that as Masteros, but you could.
We're going to
Maybe.
see something fun here, John. I like it. I mean, in all fairness, Army Geniuses actually have a really, really good kind of chance of winning this game number 2 now because the draft is so ridiculous from Motivate.Trust. So, if anyone's wondering who has the better draft, I would definitely say Army Geniuses by a mile, but I cannot guarantee anything. So we just don't know what to expect here from Motivate.Trust.
Yeah, that's what makes it scary. Army Geniuses, it's so much more straightforward, so much more easy to understand. But MG.Trust is MG.Trust. They do this stuff. They they just do this stuff and they make it work somehow. So Jackie, he's on his signature PL. He only really has to worry about that LC and laning. So there's a lot of pressure here on our LC, on Wami, to kind of apply that pressure. Right? He just wants to be able to zone out the PL, make it hard to find last hits. Looks like they might start with the early tri lane here, as we tend to see. Maybe they go for first blood and they split up. I'm just gonna. Okay, Masaros is starting on the bot lane. It looks like they're gonna put Jackie up top. PG Orca Jackie. uh,
Go on.
they're
John.
so they're talking about Jackie going to a different team. I swear I have not seen PG Orca in like 2 to 3 years though. We have not cast. You remember that Pondok Gaming?
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
PG Orca and PG Barrack X.
I remember.
So I'm not sure what they're going on about, the boys from AG, but
Maybe
it seems like they want Jackie.
Wasn't Jackie from those teams once upon a time? I feel like I
No.
remember. No.
No. I swear, I think PG was mainly Indonesian, right? Like PG
Okay.
Barrack X and Orca were both Indonesian stacks. It looks like, I don't know, maybe AG just wants him there. Yeah, they've
Well, I
been
don't blame
teasing
them.
Jackie.
I mean, Jackie has looked really good as a POS 1 in SEA, but I don't want to kind of say anything yet about Jackie, but considering he did win Pro Series number 3 a month ago, and he's been so consistent on the POS 1 role, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking he might be minimum top 3 POS 1 in SEA right now. I don't know if I'm saying that too early, John. It might be too early, but he has been looking really, really consistent.
No, definitely. I agree with you on that. I think the only times you saw him falter were like I can remember in season 3 when he kind of goes greedy, right? Like his AM going for the outpost play by himself and getting punished. It's small stuff like that I will never let go. But Jackie's been on
50-50.
fire so far. Yeah, it's the 50-50. Just channeling that NA Jackie spirit. Still, let's see how these lanes spread out. Jackie up against DB on the pause 1 slaughter as well. So a lot of back and forth here. You can see good damage coming out from UK, but of course, once you run out of Arctic Burn, you don't have much to play with. So you've got to maximize that first. Level 3 is going to be a good spike for both sides, but especially for Boombell. The issue is whether or not Jackie can get out damage in time. That's the one weakness of this lane. PL, not the most damaging in the early level, so we'll just have to see what MG.Trust can pull out. But AG is looking pretty darn good. If DB gets free farm here and gets some stuns off, it's a melee lane against a Slardar. Slardar should have a good time.
That is true. Of course, mid lane, John Mamang Daya is there up against Fearless. So Storm versus Morphling matchup. Feels like it might just favor Fearless here in this this mid matchup, as he is going to be able to just transition between the mid lane and the small camps and just clear those out really easily. And you can't really imagine Mamang Daya being able to kill Fearless nor apply much pressure on the Storm unless Fearless jumps in. So it should be a very free lane for both heroes. But I'd say Fearless should still come out ahead, just based off the fact that he will have the static remnant to be able to farm small camps exactly like this.
Yeah, he's should have a better time overall because of that flash farm. Mamangdaya, maybe he's gonna look for a support rotation. You know, we have seen LYM opt for that movement, and Mirana is beastly, so we'll see if they're gonna have that space. You're gonna have to watch for those power runes, since you already have the bottle up on Fearless, and that's gonna be valuable. It's still not off lane here. Wami with LYM, LC plus Mirana. There's some potency here, you know, if you can get the jump in. But it looks like it has been a bit slower. Wami just kind of hits his level 2 right then. You are seeing some steady farm for Masteros. Not great. This is a slower start for Masteros than you'd like, but he is technically the offlaner. You know, he's not supposed to find that pos 1 farm. They are managing to get Jackie a bit better of a start in that sense. You still have to watch the start of Wami. If he's allowed to build up quick into level 6, I think dual plus arrow plus tiny coming in would be pretty big damage coming out early on.
Absolutely. That Jewel, once it is up, Wami can have a great old time with LYM. They just won't be able to run, and the arrow damage is very high as well, with that bonus damage. The Q, Avalanche toss out on LYM, just quickly gets rid of half his HP. LYM doesn't actually have any regen left at the moment, but can rely on the press the attack of Wami if he absolutely needs to. Looks like he won't mind too much though right now. He'll just keep his distance away from the Lifestealer and the Tiny for that matter. Of course, in the mid lane, Mamangdaya, he was falling extremely low on the Morphling, but he does bring a salve out. He's going to be alright. Fearless is indeed still ahead in terms of CS, 23 and 5 in comparison to the 20 and 3 of Mamangdaya. Oh, nice deny there. Can he get the range creep? No, he cannot. Fearless does get it. Everything's still going to be very nice for Motivate.Trust in this mid lane. Very quiet overall, though, in this laning phase, and that it kind of does go back to the fact that MG.Trust are running 2 carries in both side lanes. So the odds of them finding kills is quite low until they get to maybe the level 4, level 5 mark. And then we could see some things happening, but up until then, there's probably going to be nothing going on.
Yeah, it's just going to be that slower start, as you mentioned. Now, you know, looking at these lanes, I'm just a bit surprised overall that AG did opt to keep the Slaughter versus PL lane. Like, you are seeing DB farm better than Jackie, but you'd expect the LC to maybe have a better time with the overwhelming odds, and your Slaughter to trade better up against the Lifestealer. But I guess they don't want the strength here up against the Lifestealer in that case. I mean, the LC still is, but she can sustain herself. So in that sense, you're fine. The biggest worry here for a kind of slower start is that Fearless is left unchecked. We haven't seen the Mirana rotation. Fearless is just free farming, as you pointed out. He was winning over Mamangdaya. He's clearing out these triangle camps without any contestation. And that's going to be an issue if you allow the Storm to go off on a free start like this.
Q, he wanted that bounty rune, but misses out on the Avalanche onto LYM. That's kind of the reason we haven't seen LYM rotating, by the way, John. Q is just consistently following him around, not allowing him to go for those arrows in the mid lane. That's one really nice thing about having Q as the pos 4, is he does tend to be very annoying. No matter what hero he is on, he just likes to annoy the enemy team quite a bit.
Yeah, he has been, and has been highly effective there. Like, just dragging the Mirana away has also freed up a lot of space here for Masteros, who, again, it's not an amazing start for the Lifestealer, but they are balancing these 2 cores with very limited supports in lane, as they're focused on keeping equilibrium up rather than going for kill opportunities. So in that sense, MG.Trust is still somewhat finding something. It's just, as you mentioned, just a slow game, 6 minutes in, not even a first blood.
Fearless.
There is level 6 in Fearless.
He made a jump in, but is not going to commit. Q going to be there to make sure the power rune does not go the way of the Morphling, and Fearless, oh, he gets a regen rune, but no, UK. With the Arctic Burn, does deny it off, and that was a very important play from UK. Had the regen rune been given to Fearless, that would have been a guaranteed kill somewhere across the map for this Storm.
Yeah, it would have been a big opportunity to start moving, but it looks like it is time for MG.Trust to kind of shift around. Looks like Fearless going to go back to Repo's bottle, TP back in. So that gives Q some space to soak EXP, and this is one thing where it kind of has hurt these supports. Like, you want level 6 super fast in your line. Boombelt's just been very selfless about it, so he's still stuck at 2. That's something I think you want to look to fix up. You've already got 6 up in DB. they can start to be threatening with a corrosive haze and getting some physical damage out, which makes it harder for Boombell to come up and feel safe, but TP out from Fearless.
Fearless wants to make a play right here, right now, along with Boombell. Boombell's only level 2, mind you, but it doesn't really matter. He has the stun, he has the Hex, and UK is way too close right now, so Fearless can just jump right in, and Jackie might just get himself a free kill, and he does. Even the courier of UK going down with boots and a clarity on it. And that first blood gold going to the PL, John, it's going to give Jackie a very nice start.
Definitely will. And slowing down the boots for the Winter Wyvern, it's always kind of painful on a pause 5. So it's going to be a bit annoying here for UK as he makes his way back to the lane. Jackie is now getting that farm he wants, and
nice kill bot lane, though. That's your first duel victory coming out for Wommy. He had a DB there to help out, and LYM ended up finishing off the kill with the arrow setup. Very nice there from AG. They will go ahead and start working towards that bottom tier 1 tower now. Looks like the side of Motivate, they won't really be too interested in trying to defend. Masteros is going to come back in. I don't know about this Masteros. He'll get arrowed straight away. Wommy doesn't have the jewel up, but Masteros is going to have to invest and just run. He'll take the siege creep away at least, but they've already got that tier 1 tower.
yeah, that's exactly what they want. There is a bit of a trade up top, though, and they're hunting UK again.
They will. UK, a very easy target, but the Arctic Burn making it slightly harder. Still Fearless, just going to keep chasing him down. Jackie, looks like he'll probably get the kill, though. No, Fearless, he's going to take it. That is going to help him escalate towards his Orchid build-up on the Storm. That'll make it a 2-1 as well, with both tier 1s in the side lanes going down now. Very even start between the two. I suppose on the brighter side, John, even though they are finding kills on Motivate.Trust, this has left Mamang Daya to just keep free farming on that Morphling.
It definitely has, and this is one thing that MG.Trust's lineup is not really set up to do, but none of them naturally carry a Spirit Vessel, so Mamang Daya's regen is always going to be a massive issue unless they can get that instantaneous burst, which also puts pressure in your Lion to get a blink, which again on the pause 5, with how this game has started, is going to be a slow process, and AG, they're playing it right again in this laning phase, straight to mid. They're just looking for these objectives. We saw them do this in game 1, and, you know, this was when they were strongest.
Well, Masteros has been jeweled up now, but the jewel is going to wear off a bit too quick, and now the Impel does come out, but Masteros, again, going to die. Mamang Daya able to take the kill on the Morphling. Masteros, he's on one of those heroes that can't really defend the mid lane like that. So he does have to be a little bit more cautious, whereas last game he had the Bloodseeker. You can spam Blood right, but not this game. You're a life stealer, you can't really do anything.
It's a harder game for him to have that impact. He's going to need some farm first, and that's where they really lack as well. Team fights all on the supports and on Fearless to get the jumps in. And it's just such a strange position for Masteros. Like, even his offlane faces Void at least had Chrono to play with, but the Lifestealer doesn't really have much, and we'll still have to see what ends up coming out here. But with a mid-tier 1 pickup, or at least with the pressure on the mid-tier 1, they're already confident enough to invade this jungle, and that just takes away spaces to farm here for everyone. Now, they have sort of left Jackie alone, though, so RPL is getting some free farm out of this. We'll see if Jackie will get enough space in this game to really find his timings here.
Well, MG.Trust, they're just as 4 in the mid lane, looking at Mamang Daya with the Earth Spike to come out, and now Fearless is out, but won't bother with the Vortex as Mamang Daya, he already had the Strength Morph going. There's just no point even trying without something like a Spirit Vessel up. Fearless really does want that Orchid up ASAP so he can actually try and contest this Morph. He does almost have it up now, just needs a recipe to have it up all the way. Until that point, it looks like they are going to slow play this game.
Yeah, I don't think this hurts Army Geniuses as much as it once did, because Mamang Daya is going to be able to also farm up for himself. He's going for a Yasha and seemingly into the Manta, although.
Yeah, it's a nice kill in the mid lane. LYM getting caught out. That's one of the positives about the Lion. Of course, you have 2 disables, which are actually really strong. Boombell just locks down the Mirana for such a long time with that Earth Spike and the Hex. And now they're going to go again, John. They have the finger up. You know, these Lion players, they need that bonus damage ASAP.
Yeah, I mean that flash kill is going to be massively helpful, and this is actually a really good spot. They're up in the triangle now. They are going blind because they only have one forward ward, but if they get the circle around on Mamang Daya and catch him with his pants down, that could be a major kill here.
Mamang Daya doesn't want to get caught out like this, but Fearless with the Orchid now, looking for the silence, does get it. Prior to the morph, with the finger out, he cannot survive. Plus 40 damage. Feels good for Boombell.
Yeah, you love to see it. Just very effective use of that finger. We talk about the line wanting to get that 5 to 6 spike with the smoke. Played it perfectly there from MG.Trust. Does bring them 4-2 with a slight net worth lead. And again, while all of that happens, Jackie is just completely uncontested. He's got his defusal out on the PL now, and PL against Morphling in the long game. Mana burn does hurt that Morphling a ton.
Well, they tried to go up at the top lane, but Wami is going to be able to back off in time on the LC. And there's even going to be a TP rotation now from DB to see if they can try and turn back around and counter-initiate onto Motivate. Moonlight Shadow is there to set up. Fearless seems to understand something is wrong. He does back out. Wami, however, with UK still moving forward. They might have to settle for Boombell instead, but here comes Jackie with his illusions, just trying to burn the mana of this Wyvern. And this gank attempt will not work out for Army Geniuses.
That's just a beautiful sentry drop here from the side of MG as well to break that up. And knowing that they just popped the smoke, Boombell and Fearless again, they smoke up together.
They don't have finger up for another 80 seconds, but they just don't need it with the Orchid. Sad life for Lion having a 160-second cooldown on his finger. It's
Just life for Lion players.
Not very fun.
It is what you take. Still a Mamang Daya.
Oh, he doesn't get the strength morph off in time. The silence is going to be there with the Earth Spike. And the Hex is also going to be perfectly timed. Another great kill. Mamang Daya, he saw them for a split second, but he did not react fast enough. With that, they'll get their second kill on the Morphling, and they are really starting to slow Mamang Daya down. And it's as you pointed out, Jackie is still farming away, still doing Jackie things. He is well and truly on his way to snowballing out of control.
He is, and you see another smoke from AG. They were looking at mid. Honestly, not the targets they should go for. They just need to jump Jackie as they can. And the issue is, it's such a 50-50 with her instant disabled. Like, it has to be UK landing the right Winter's Curse, and Jackie just tends to be surrounded by his illusions unless you catch him jumping camp to camp. And that's the difference right now with MG.Trust and AG. Like, AG, sure, Mamang Daya is farming okay. He's putting himself forward, and MG.Trust is punishing. The same does not go here for Jackie. He's just been left alone. They are sacrificing Masaros, but look, he's got Infest and Armlet up. He's just ready to go with Fearless now.
Yep. Easy kills to be taken, and LYM gonna see them, but they're going after that wall again. The silence. Oh boy, that's a lot of burst damage straight off the bat there from Fearless and Masaros. How much does Infest even do these days? 150 at level 1. Not too bad though. When you get the silence off, you get the initial 150 burst with the zip damage as well. Masaros comes out with an armlet, hits like a truck. The Morphling, who was Agimorphed at 660 HP, is probably not going to survive the burst damage.
No, and that's his big mistake. Like, there was a split second again where he knew he has to be faster on that toggle, and it's one of those things, right? Morphling is a hero that excels on the bleeding edge of mechanical play. Looks like AG might need to, freshen up a bit, get Mamang Daya awake a little bit more. Maybe a sip of Monster might help him out there, Mike, but he needs to react a bit faster to that movement.
I would definitely agree with that sentiment, John. Moonlight Shadow going to be out. They're going to try and... Well, they've lost their attempt at defending that tier 1 tower, but they do spot out Masaros. He's completely LYM? Bit of a misclick there from LYM, and they never initiate. They're just too scared now. MG.Trust should have potential to turn, but here comes DB. He'll get hexed up immediately. Arrow going to fly through. Mamang Daya going to come in now with his own rage, but Masaros still fine. Meanwhile, the Avalanche toss kills off LYM while Fearless, he jumps the backlines, and here comes Jackie. The curse is out, but nobody's within range. There's not even illusions there. Jackie, he's just going to charge them now. UK, he goes for the cold embrace. Wami's going to lose his mana as he's trying to run away. Oh, and one misclick does all this to Army Geniuses. Oh, LYM, he must be kicking himself right now.
I mean, the strangest thing was that they kept going for it. Like, after
They
they
had to.
revealed, I don't think you can. Like, you see what happens when they don't line up their shots. They should have all jumped in immediately, but they hesitated. They go after, and that was enough time for MG.Trust to kind of recover from it. Now, they will try to sneak a Roche. There's no wards here from MG.Trust to find this, and it does melt fast with Corrosive Haze, so this could be one way AG kind of turns it around. Roshan coming out. They are still 8k behind, but perhaps they can make something happen with this Aegis.
I mean, Aegis is always going to be nice. Not so nice when you're almost 4k behind the PL as the Morphling, but second life never hurts. Mid lane, LYM. He's gone. No chance in hell of him surviving. And Masaros, he feels so confident to just take this mid wave. Like, he knows they can't kill him. He'll just infest and run. Like, unless they land a 5-second arrow, there's just no chance of him dying.
No, it's getting difficult to even eat through that Life Stealer who, you know, Masaros went off to a slow start. He is basically playing a secondary core that it's working out. Like, he's flying out his Sanj. He's got this Imp Claw ready to go as well. He's got the Heaven's Halberd ready to go afterwards. And I don't know what you do now if you're AG. Like, the item build-up here from Mamangdai, he still needs the Manta to have that self-purge to remove that Orchid Silence. And that's not going to be enough for him to stand and fight, although they find Q.
Yeah, but he's got a Ghost Scepter up already.
Oh,
We saw this the other day from Q, just getting a Ghost Scepter whenever he's up against heroes like the Morphling or the Slardar. And now Avalanche was there, but it isn't on anything. Wommy, try and fight, but Orchid is going to be out. Masaros going after the Slardar instead. Fearless just jumping around right now, not wanting to risk getting Winter's Cursed. Meanwhile, Jackie already got the Aegis off that Morphling, and Jackie's rushing forward. So he'll back off. He's happy to just waste their time unless Wommy can get a nice jewel up here, and he's going to try with DB coming out, but no, Jackie, he gets the Manta in time. They could have jeweled him, and looks like they are going to come in for the fight now. Q coming in with an Avalanche. Wommy's out of mana. Jackie's going to go finish him off. The Cold Embrace might save. The Curse is not going to be really that impactful. Jackie is still fine, but now DB and Mamangdai are going to jump in. Jackie getting bashed up, almost dead, does go down, but now Fearless and Q jump in. Avalanche tosses out. Fearless, he's looking for a cleanup. He's out of mana though. It's a 3-for-1 trade. They do kill Jackie, but it costs them everything, and they still lose their Morph, Slardar, and LC. All cores going down for Army Geniuses.
Yeah, I mean, they need to find these kills so they can't be too unhappy, but even LYM.
Yeah, you're going nowhere, mate. See you later.
Oh boy, they're just finding everything now. MG.Trust and AG. You know, that was the smart, well, almost the smart play in terms of isolating Jackie, but they again don't have that burst. You gotta love how Boombelt's just allowed to play this line. He just gets these 2-man, 3-man Earth Spikes and
Fearless.
UK.
Gonna zip in, they're looking for a jewel, but the Hex was there in time. Wommy, he's a sitting duck now. The mana drain will be out. Boombelt not even gonna get hit by the overwhelming odds. Still Mamangdai gonna try and chase Fearless, but he picked up a Haste Rune, and Jackie, he is around. And I don't really think they want to fight into Jackie at the moment, but they're going to try. Wommy, he's looking for a jewel. Jackie trying to bait them to go for the wrong illusion. They know. They go for another jewel, but it does not work out. And UK asking for a pause. He's probably not going to get one right now. There's your GG call coming out. AG know they've lost. They know.
Oh man.
There's just no way.
MG.Trust. MG.Trust. How disgusting is that? They run the most Southeast Asian pub draft and win. They run 2 safe laners that they just take a very slow early game and they win. This is the classic C lineup. And they win. So there's no excuses in your pub, boys, but MG.Trust, they play perfectly. I mean, look at that performance. 1-0 on Boombell, 6-0 on Q, 7-0 on Fearless. Just a spectacular time. AG, they put up a good fight. Not quite it. Not as good as their game 1. And They had some interesting ideas. DB on the safe lane Slardar with Mamangdaya mid-morph. Doesn't quite pan out, and they're going to have to look elsewhere for a win.
MG.Trust doing it again. John, unfortunately, it does mean we are going to have to wait 20 minutes for our next series to start, of course, because MG.Trust is going back-to-back into another series. Now, this series should be interesting, though, right? Obviously, this series we just watched was pretty one-sided, but Boom Esports up against MG.Trust this time around. Boom, they're sitting at 6th place right now. They are definitely looking for a pretty big win here over MG.Trust because they want to move their way up and try to at least make sure that they can get a bit of a nicer standing in the group stage. I don't believe they necessarily have much of a chance to make it to the upper bracket, or do they? I'm trying to figure it out now. Because they have 2 games left, so if they can get 2 2-0s, Boom might actually slip their way in to the upper bracket.
Yeah. There is a possibility of that they can overtake Neon. Remember, Neon has no more remaining games. So if Boom do clean sweep 2-0 back-to-back, then there is a chance. It's
Okay.
it's a very slim chance, but they can do it.
All right. Well, they have to get the 2-0s, though. That's the thing. I don't think draws are going to be enough
No.
to get them over the edge. So we'll see how it all pans out. It's MLP Dota on johnxfire. Back to cat jamming for us. And we'll see you all again in about 20 minutes for our next series of the day. See you soon.